This segment is sponsored by Logan Agri-Service. We have Ed Logan in this morning for our Tri-State Farm Update, talking about seed selection for 2020 as farmers are already thinking toward next year. Many farmers have completed harvest by now, so what is going on between now and planting season?
You know, Chad, this is actually a very busy time of the year for many farmers because they are making these decisions going forward. And one of the most important decisions we have to make for the next crop year is the selection of the corn hybrids and soybean varieties that we're going to plant. And so as we go in to make those decisions, we need to gather a lot of yield information. We can go to university plots, bank plots, seed company plots, on-farm trials, great sources of information. We're looking for corn hybrids and soybean varieties that are showing consistent yield over a number of areas and over a number of trials. We need to look in corn specifically for hybrids that show great disease tolerance. This has become especially important if the farmer is not including a fungicide application as part of his normal cropping plans.
When you do this, do you look at this year because it was such a wet year, or do you go, 2019 was kind of a fluke, let's look at the past 5 to 10 years?
I think that we look over the last 2 to 3 years, especially because in corn, oftentimes the hybrids are only good now for 2 or 3 years and then they're replaced. So we just have to look more recent information.
Okay. And then so what else do we need to look for seeds?
In soybeans especially, we have to select our trait platforms. And it's boiling down that we have 2 platforms available now. We have the Extend soybean platform, which those beans are resistant to applications of dicamba. And we have the Enlist E3 soybean platform. Those beans are tolerant to applications of 2,4-D and glufosinate. I think it's also very important now that we look for corn hybrids and soybean varieties that exhibit good emergence and early season vigor. This has become very important, Chad, over recent years because we have farmers who now plant corn and soybeans in late March, very early April. And so when we do that, the soils are cool, sometimes wetter, and it's important to get that crop up out of the ground and off to a good start.
And then that affects everything going in through harvest.
And finally then in corn, it's good to find a hybrid that exhibits rapid dry down of the grain. And this helps lead to earlier harvest in the fall and also helps reduce some of those drying costs that are associated with wet grain. And as always, your seed specialist is a good source of information.
Absolutely. Well, Ed, thanks so much for coming in. Again, this segment is sponsored by Logan Agri-Service. We'll be right back after this.